Well, I guess I should probably begin the video with a shout out to my SA Manuel reviewer. He's been pretty cool so far, apparently. I haven't had any problems, but these are going to be filmed using a broken airsoft gun, so nobody's in any danger. I want to be clear about that before I begin. I want to be crystal clear about that before I begin. Anyway, on to the video. I think I'm going to wait. Okay, so we're going to be using an unsuspecting neighbor's yard. The road and the field there in the bottom of the image as our target zone. Insert air quotes. Target zone. The closest portion we'll be looking at is right about where you see the change in vegetation there in the field, where it gets darker. That line is approximately 100 meters from my present position. About 130 to the road, 175 or so to that creek, the dark line there with all the vegetation, and then out to that propane tank for 200, 225. Rough estimates, I'm guessing. I ain't broke out the Google Earth on it. At any rate, we're going to begin with iron sights. Regardless of the style you're using, the basic principle has always been the same. You have some sort of notch or circle at the rear, and you're trying to put a post or the tip of a triangle, or in the case of a shotgun, just a plain bead on the target, align the rear sight with it, and you should be good to go. Some sights are adjustable, some aren't. Then you have things like express sights, where you have several leafs in the rear sight, and you throw up the one for the range you need. Determining range, we're not touching that. People who are more knowledgeable than I can be sought out for that kind of thing. Alright, eyeballing and guessing is not what we're here to do today. We're just talking about basic use. First up, we'll be using an M16A2 type sight. Ostensibly, the larger aperture is good. Let me just adjust this. Yeah. The larger aperture is supposed to be good for about to there. Your precision is going to kind of drop off probably about there. But yeah, for longer range, you're supposed to use the smaller aperture. Some dust in it. South Park was right about motorcycles. Anyway, the hell is all this glare? Anyway. Alright. So, for something like our little propane tank, make sure I'm on it. Yeah. Yep, alright. Align the sight, get it set in the center, and you should be good. Supposing your distance settings on the M16A2 style sights are correct, and you've got the weapon zeroed, you should be able to make hits out to 500 and beyond with that aperture, supposedly. I've not had a chance to practice it. You can see this area doesn't really lend itself to long distance, and I know what you're thinking, but you got mountains. Table Rock, from where I'm at to the face of that rock right there, is about 2.2 miles, and it's 2,200 feet above where I'm sitting, or about 2,000 feet. That's 1.8. That little hump right there is about 3, and then Caesar's Head, that's 5 miles away. So we're going to concentrate on this area. About the furthest you could get a hit from here would be, I'd say 350, 400 meters. And that's being generous, and if you're standing in exactly the right spot to get the line of sight to it. Iron sights are great. They're primarily what I use and have used. I swear by them, not at them. They get the job done. They're not great for everything, but by and large, in close country like this, perfectly adequate and acceptable. So when things get opened up past about midway up that hill, you start having issues. Even in that 100 meters, you can have a lot of effects from wind. You know, it changes direction between here and there. Right now it's blowing across me from my left, but there's wind coming up that valley. There's wind coming across that side of the valley to here, and the trees and everything else can affect that. So you could have the wind change direction and speed 3 or 4 times between here and that little line of vegetation. Now, let's say our problem is right there 100 meters away. Iron sights, broad daylight, do it up. Take a little time to align them. Make sure you're right on your shit. But you can make a hit real easy from this distance. I had to crank this poor little TRS-25 up all the way to the top to make it visible on my camera here. There we go. You see our dot. Place that on the target, pull the trigger, bang, you got it. The dot gets a little bit larger compared to your target the further out you go. I mean, it's almost covering the end cap of that propane tank. Certainly the top portion right there where the meter is. But this is perfectly adequate out to quite a good distance, supposing you got the lighting right. Now, this is a fairly oldish optic. They've been around forever. I've had this thing for ages. It was inexpensive then, it's inexpensive now, and it'll do. So I don't really have a problem with it. There's another aspect of red dots I need to cover. Let's talk briefly about co-witness. That's where you have your previously aligned rifle or pistol sights. You add a dot. You align the dot, and the two are in sync, and both are on point. So you run the dot primarily. The iron sights are essentially a backup, or vice versa, depending on lighting conditions and what you're doing. It's not a bad system, not terrible. It does kind of clutter everything, as you can see. I mean, you know, you throw that up wrong, you're in trouble. You know, ideally, you wouldn't do that. You'd either run one or the other and have folding backup sights, but those are on something else, and I'm not taking them off for this video. Anyway, so to recap, iron sights, while useful out to quite a good distance, don't fit every application. Red dots, while useful especially at close range, still don't fit every application. At that point, you have to look to a magnified optic. Now, these come in many shapes, sizes, flavors. What we'll be looking through is a fixed power. It's on the box it said 3.5. In the manual it said 4, I think, or vice versa. There's some conjecture I've heard on the internet that it's something else, but we're going with what we got, and this is a SigPro CP1. It's like a real cheap version of an ACOG that's not nearly as good. Okay. It's an optical gun sight, but it's not quite as advanced. Now you can see some numbers and some items there on the crosshair. The thick post is for close use, say within the 100 meters down there at that edge. The others, the stadia lines there, are for ranging and ballistic correction. Now that's not a person-sized object, so can't really use it to determine proper range with this, and I don't have any volunteers standing down there, so we may have to do a little pretending. But yeah, you can see the sight picture is much clearer, and even at medium and close ranges with the thicker portion of that reticle, you'll be doing all right. It's a good medium option. Of course, there are variable power scopes. There are scopes with much more complex reticles. There are scopes with bullet drop compensation dials and all kinds of stuff. That is for more experienced people with more money and time than I've got. Now, what we're going to do is, give me a second. Like a lot of modern scopes, this features a lighted reticle. Come on now. Cooperate, damn it. To help you range and see the reticle better. Certain lighting conditions, that's actually really helpful. Let me just do some turning. We've got green and red available on this. Red stands out a little better in this lighting. You can still read the numbers, and you're supposed to measure shoulder width using those lines. Yeah, that'll help. Measure shoulder width using the lines, and that'll tell you the range. I believe we start at 2, then 300, then 400, then 600. I ain't got no shoulders down there to measure. For further distances, of course, greater magnification you may want, but you can at least get good observation with a fixed optic like this. Unless I go crossing a line with some Canadian snipers, I'm not real worried about any of the hills around here. This is a bitch to do. Alright. But yeah, magnified optics are excellent, and I love them. I prefer them to red dots just because. But again, close country. Very, very close country. Long shots are rare out here. Even shooting across the length of that field, which would be a bad idea because that's a highway. I could do it, and I could do it safely. The people I shoot with could do it safely. But people driving by wouldn't think it was very safe, and that might cause accidents just from looky-loos. So we're not going to be doing that. However, at some point, I will set a target down there and get up here, and we'll see what we can maybe do. This ain't a creek bottom. I ain't got flat ground to use. Well, I do, but I don't feel like talking to cops. Yeah, that's a brief overview of basic commonly available sighting systems. What you might run into. This is hopefully this is useful for folks that are kind of new or thinking about purchasing a firearm and what they might want to do given where they live. Anyhow, share the road or whatever, but all right. somewhere down there is a utility box. That utility box is very, very warm. Why does that matter? Well, let's see if we can find it. Oh no. There we go. Let's see, that's some tin. It's a little green space. The solar panel on a motion light. It's an arbor. Oh, what are you? And there we have it. Black hot's not helping. There's the night vision green or whatever. I might need to up the brightness on this. I tried to do this last night. This is a Sector Arms T20 thermal. There's our power box hiding behind that bush. Come on, you bitch. There it is. Hiding right behind that bush. Go to white hot. Sadly, this is as clear as I can get the thing, trying to do it like this. You see the line of the road down there, even passing cars. In low light and darkness, this is quite an advantage. It'll tell you if you're looking at a person or a possum in the bushes. And as we saw already, bushes don't hide a whole lot. With something like night vision, when you're looking at a bush, unless light is reflecting off of something behind that bush, you ain't gonna see it. You can't see it through it unless the light's coming through it and reflecting back. However, with a thermal sensor, any heat that is coming off of that object that is hotter than the bush itself, say an animal, is going to stand out. Back over here at the 100-meter line. This is in daylight, so it's not going to be as effective. It's about 60 degrees, probably about 40% humidity. There's some vehicles. White hot's working good for me. Let's see. Let's see if we can see that propane tank. We cannot, because there's just too much shit between me and it. It's not reflecting enough heat, and it has to reflect heat. I mean, that propane tank is cold. Somebody was standing beside it, you'd see them and their reflection on it probably. This is not the most advanced thermal optic you can get. It's not even the most advanced version of this optic you can get, but it's what I could get a hold of on short notice to replace the Allen one that I had, which is for even shorter ranges. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of tell there's a house right there. Let's look at something a little more definite. Like I said, something more definite. Alright. Zoom in a bit. Let's see. That's Table Rock. 2.2 miles away. Looking at the wrong thing. There's the stool. 1.5 miles. Again, about 3 miles to that. And then there's Caesar's Head over there. You notice the reticle changes color as you cross into something that's warmer or colder. Got quite a lot of cloud cover out here, which is very neat. They are quite warm. Go back down to here now. What's funny is rocks absorb a lot of heat. That thing is going to be glowing like that till 2 in the morning. Let's look at this one. If you're wondering what that is, alright, let's have some guesses. Pop it down in the comments. Of course, I won't know whether you're cheating or not. That is a coiled up and plugged in extension cord. Boop. You can kind of trace the rest of the line. That's a hummingbird feeder. You see what I'm getting at, though? Something that allows you to perceive what is otherwise imperceptible. See if our little bear is warm enough. Well, there's that 10 again. Yeah, our little bear isn't quite warm enough. But you get the idea. Something like this, if you're looking for, and let me hit you with the air quotes again, budget thermal, anything you see with that in the damn title of it here on YouTube, that budget is the same budget you'd get for a half-ass used car. $3,000 to $5,000 on average. Things are getting cheaper. Things are getting more accessible. But it's taking a lot longer than it should. This company, Sector Optics, is a division of Torrey Pines Logic, and they make some really cool shit. And comparatively, it's very affordable. Almost all their stuff is $1,000 or less. And if you go shopping around for discontinued items and can find them, you can save a lot more money than that. Now, what weapons these sights are all going to be put on, how they're going to be employed, that'll come later. I'm not 100% sure where I might end up with this one. I've got some options. Probably going to put it on my AK. I don't know. The Galil is out as far as mounting optics on it because what I paid for that rifle might not even cover a proper scope mount for that rifle, which is, that's kind of fucking insane. But anyway, this has just been a brief overview of sighting systems that are available. Night vision, I don't have any, and that's a deficit that I seek to. I'm going to seek to rectify and remedy. And again, there's Kitty Cat. Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. Hey, kitty. Freaky looking. But yeah, that's a quickie overview of sighting systems available on the market now. Like I said, the thermals, if you shop around for discontinued models from different companies, you can come out ahead financially. But remember, every step back is going to cost you in some fashion. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. I doubt it, but I hope it was. And be seeing you.